Battle through the firmament. Grand world. Chapter 360. Collect all the favors. Yunlo Academy. Xiaoyan and the others did not delay at all. They chatted for a while in the outer mountain of Silver Moon Mountain. Mahuyang still had to complete the graduation exam, so naturally he would not go back. Lindao rarely stepped out of Realm in Valley, so he was not in a hurry to go back after coming out. Wu Shaoqi was worried about going back to cultivate immediately. This way, Xiaoyan and Wu Shaoqi went back to the academy together. On the way, Xiaoyan also asked Wu Shaoqi about the Spirit Pavilion in detail. This was what he understood. The Spirit Pavilion was one of the most important places in the Yunlo Academy. The areas that were usually open to the public were relatively normal, and those were even more precious things. They were stored in the depths of the Spirit Pavilion, and only a few students could enter. The 10 people on the Soaring Dragon ranking were naturally one of them. Xiaoyan thought of the poison-dissolving pill formula Wu Shaoqi had given him, and nodded slightly. According to Ranhong, the Spirit Pavilion should have these medicinal ingredients. The most important Heavenly Beast blood essence had already been obtained. The remaining ones were not too difficult to find. Xiaoyan had also coincidentally seen the purifying spirit dew in the alchemy room of the Elixir Association. Although the price was not very high, Ranhong still gave it to him. No matter what, this favor to the Elixir Association. He had already owed them too much. After returning to the academy, Wu Shaoqi greeted Xiaoyan and hurriedly flew to her residence. After witnessing Lindao's strength, she, who was unwilling to admit defeat, desired to improve her strength even more. If she could completely master Flame Lord's inheritance this time, her strength would definitely increase by an unbelievable amount. After saying goodbye to Wu Shaoqi, Xiaoyan headed straight to the Spirit Pavilion. After going out for a while, there were only 3 fire wings left. This kind of consumption caused Xiaoyan's heart to ache. He immediately made up his mind. After Zuna woke up, he would stay in the academy and cultivate. He would strive to reach the Monarch Emperor as soon as possible, so he wouldn't need to waste so much effort. In the Spirit Pavilion, Elder Wang, whom Xiaoyan had met once before, was still sitting there lazily. He was flipping through an old book in his hand. In the main hall, many students were reading carefully, hoping to find something useful to them. Ever since the inner courtyard competition, Xiaoyan had not used the Spirit Origin formation many times. He had exchanged Lian's head for a lot of Spirit Origin stones. After entering the Soaring Dragon ranking, the Academy rewarded him with many Spirit Origin stones. As for the exact amount of Xiaoyan's, Xiaoyan did not take a close look. This time, in order to buy a few special medicinal ingredients, he had specially taken a look at the storage ring before entering. Originally, there was still 150,000 Spirit Origin stones remaining. However, from the beginning until the end, he had used around 10,000 Spirit Origin stones. Adding on the rewards from the Academy, this number shockingly reached over 300,000 Spirit Origin stones. I wonder if it's enough. After muttering softly, Xiaoyan lifted his leg and walked towards the Spirit Pavilion. When Elder Wang heard the sound, he lazily raised his head and looked at Xiaoyan. When he saw Xiaoyan, he immediately stood up and greeted him with a smile on his face. He had also heard of the latter's deeds. He was ranked 4th on the Soaring Dragon ranking with Jutianho, and had easily defeated Byongzhao and the others. He couldn't help but be surprised by his strength and talent. What do you want to exchange for this time? Elder Wang looked at Xiaoyan with a smile on his face, but secretly sized him up. He estimated that Xiaoyan had already been listed as a student who must enter the realm in Valley. Lu Xiangyang and Mahiyu had also been here a few times, and he could only praise the latter. However, for Lu Xiangyang, although he was the 2nd in the Soaring Dragon ranking and had even become the captain of the executive department, he was in the limelight for a while. He was the first candidate to enter the realm in Valley, but for some reason, he felt that the possibility of this guy entering the realm in Valley was extremely small. Elder Wang. Xiaoyan also slightly nodded his head and looked at the top of the Spirit Pavilion. He said softly, "This student wants to enter the depths of the Spirit Pavilion. Can you allow it?" Elder Wang wasn't surprised. He nodded and said, "Follow me." The depths of the Spirit Pavilion were not like the outer hall where students could casually take anything. Naturally, there were members of the punishment department maintaining order here. They were not afraid of anyone forcefully snatching them away. When Xiaoyan came for the first time, he found out about the identity of the Saint rank trial participant. Elder Wang had the intention to let him enter the depths of the Spirit Pavilion, although it hadn't been realized yet. But this time, Xiaoyan had taken the initiative to ask for it. Naturally, Elder Wang wouldn't say anything. He brought Xiaoyan to a secret corner of the hall. If it wasn't for Elder Wang leading the way, Xiaoyan really wouldn't have noticed this place. The origin key on his palms rose. He pressed it against the wall. In the next moment, a wooden door slowly appeared from the wall. Under Elder Wang's lead, Xiaoyan passed through a dark tunnel and stepped into a bright hall. Seeing the layout of the hall, Xiaoyan sucked in a breath of cold air. The hall was extremely luxurious. Crystal glass was arranged in an orderly manner, and the items stored inside were very rare. The items stored here are the items collected during the graduation examinations of the past students, as well as the cultivation insights of the various elders. They are the most valuable items in the Yunlo Academy. After a pause, Elder Wang sighed and said, "According to the rules, I want to see you here. I hope you can understand." Xiaoyan nodded his head. He didn't have any feelings in his heart. He walked forward step by step. Xiaoyan's eyes were fixed on the item inside the crystal glass. It wasn't just the herbs, the heavenly materials, and the powerful spirit weapons. However, the difference was that each item didn't have a price tag. Xiaoyan was confused. How do we exchange these items? Xiaoyan stopped walking and looked at Elder Wang, who was standing behind him, and asked curiously. The things inside can no longer be measured with spirit origin stones, but you can use them as you wish. They will be recorded in the record. When you graduate, you will complete the corresponding task to make up for it. As he spoke, Elder Wang thought for a while and said, "Back then, Ma Huyang seemed to have taken an immortal copper from here, so he needs to obtain a large amount of silver moon refined iron for this graduation test." Xiaoyan nodded and didn't say much. Although Ma Huyang didn't obtain the silver moon refined iron, the silver moon essence that was covered by that drop of blood essence was even more precious. After looking at it for a long time, Xiaoyan finally discovered the spirit cleansing dew that was needed to refine the poison. Dissolving pill. He immediately told Elder Wang that the latter had taken out a completely transparent jade pearl. After which, he carefully took out the information on the spirit cleansing dew. Xiaoyan looked over. The spirit purifying dew in his hand was like a drop of water. It was extremely clear. There were 2 green leaves around the drop of water, which made it appear quite enchanting. After slowly putting away the storage ring, Xiaoyan restrained his thoughts of going back to concoct pills. He continued to watch the scene. It was not easy for him to come to the Spirit Pavilion, so he naturally wanted to see it for himself. Elder Wang didn't rush him. He slowly followed Xiaoyan, allowing the latter to stare at him in a daze. Within a crystal glass, Xiaoyan saw a few medicinal ingredients lying quietly. This appearance was one of the main ingredients that Xiaoyan had been looking for to refine the essence protecting pill. Although he was still a long way from advancing to the next level. There was still a long period of time before the Emperor cultivation, but Xiaoyan had to start preparing as well. Not only for him, but also for Zuna, Kalen, Guyuan and Jukan. He had to prepare a few Kalens for each of them. This way, the chances of them advancing to the Emperor cultivation would be higher. I want all of these. Xiaoyan pointed at the nearly 10 herbs in the glass cabinet and said softly. Elder Wang frowned when he saw this. He hesitated for a moment but still tried to persuade Xiaoyan with good words. If you are not in a hurry to use them, then forget it. The more you take, the more difficult the tasks you need to complete during the graduation test will be. Xiaoyan only smiled when he heard that. He was determined to obtain this kind of medicinal herb. As for the so-called graduation test, he would look at it at that time. Seeing Xiaoyan's expression, Elder Wang helplessly shook his head. After recording down the information on these medicinal ingredients, he took out all of them and gave them to Xiaoyan. Carefully keeping them, Xiaoyan roughly scanned the surroundings. Although he had discovered quite a number of good things, now was not the time to carefully observe them. With the medicinal ingredients needed to refine the poison-dissolving pill, the next step was the most important, pill refinement. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.